Welcome, everyone. Welcome all over the globe to Health and Wellbeing with Viyahta. I'm Viyahta, of course. And today I am going to share with you something so valuable to everyone on the planet because nobody's talking about this body remedy for the flu. Nobody's talking about what I'm going to share with you today. So come on in, get your friend, call your friends. If you have any thoughts about getting the flu or worried about your symptoms, today's the day to wipe it all out. So, welcome to the village. So, come on in, come on in. The house is ready for you. I've got my water fountain going. It just gives me so much peace to hear that water flowing. And today, instead of doing mostly joint rolling, we're going to do some body therapy for the flu because there is still a lot of worry, a lot of concern about the symptoms that people are experiencing all over the planet. I've been watching on TikTok, people are posting videos from their beds telling how sick they are with thermometers in their mouth. And it's just really interesting that no one's talking about what I'm going to share with you today. And I've been listening to Facebook and just all sorts of voices that I'm hearing. And I have to say, I went to an event. I'm gonna turn this off. This heater is in my face. Um, I went to an event this week where there were just tons of people there, and my mind was like, "Oh dear, this is like not a good environment to be in right now." It was actually an interesting meeting for ex-convicts who wanted to impunge their records or clean up their records. And I wanted to meet the congresswoman who was there because I've been writing her about chemtrails for last year. So anyway, I met her, told her, I'm going to send her email about what's going on with the chemtrails. So all these people, I decided to leave early because it's just too many people in one room and it was crowded and people breathing on each other. So this is the environment where you're likely to pick up someone else's germs or energy. Let's say energy that can cause you to feel bad. Also, I've been out in the sun every day this week, practically on my trampoline, bouncing around. And I look up in the sky, and guess what? Lines in the sky again. One day I laid on the trampoline, lifting my legs and exercising, and one long line, an airplane flying across my area, and just one long line of stuff. And so my mind immediately goes, thank you, trees, for your protection. That's what I do now. I don't get into too much fear about the lines that are crossing the sky because most people are realizing part of the reason we're feeling bad is because of what's being sprayed in the skies everywhere. So, welcome to this session of body remedy for the flu. Instead of going right into our joint roll, and I want to spend some time sharing what I did because I actually came home 2 days this week feeling a little scratchy throat, nose was running, started to get a little stuffy nose, and I went to work right away with my music and my eucalyptus essential oil and my body remedy that I'm going to show you. This process we're going to go through has a lot of value in my opinion because I do this with my clients that I have who have signed up for my transformational coaching. This is a weekly thing with us. When anything comes up in your life and you're on a session with me, I'm going to share with you these jewels that I have that keep me well and healthy. So this is a valuable time you're spending here. This session is worth transformational coaching plan. If you want to join me at 6 weeks for $777 at $777, and you get access to me all week for during certain periods. My office hours are available, and you get access to me during the week. But I wanted to just share this part of my therapy with you because nobody's talking about it. So I want you to think about what would happen if the people, the corporation, the business that picks up your trash goes on strike. What if the waste development, the waste department of your city goes on strike? You would have a cluttered environment for one. You would know, where do you put the trash? Where's the trash going if they don't pick it up, right? You could see that people would begin maybe to start piling trash on the streets, as they do in certain foreign countries. So that's what I want you to think about as we talk about body remedy for the flu. When you get any physical symptoms that says I don't feel well, I'm sick, my body, when your energy goes down, it's like the garbage is not being picked up. Because if you are running an efficient dumping system in this body, you're not going to feel sick or tired or weak or stuffy nose or pain or any inflammation. If the system is running, your lymphatic system is running well, you're not going to feel tired, achy, pain, and stuffy. This is my belief and my experience over the last 30 some years. I worked in a health food store environment for 10 years. It was the best training I could ever get because every day, 5 days a week, people would come into this health food store looking for something to relieve their symptoms. And I was a customer service rep for 2 years, and then I managed the whole store for 4 years. So I saw thousands of people with thousands of symptoms, and the main go-to for a health food store is supplements, because that's where you make the most money in a health food store, is in supplements. The markup on supplements is like 100% for some of them. So most people right now are looking for a supplement. What are you taking to get rid of the flu? What are you taking to prevent the flu? And I came home after that meeting and said, I'm already sucking on my Zand elderberry zinc lozenges. I keep those in my purse, especially during the winter months. And I had put one in my mouth when I left that meeting. I just threw one in my mouth. But by the time I got home, scratchy throat, stuffy nose, and I went to work. And this is what I want you to take in and realize the value of this to help you really overcome any symptoms that you might be having in your body. So the main idea is to work your lymphatic system. Now, we do this every week with our joint rolling. As I tell you, the reason we do joint rolling is for circulation improvement, lymphatic system improvement, muscle strengthening, and lymphatic, and one more, I can't think of right now. Your muscle work and your circulation, all of these things working together to improve your health, right? So today we're going to just work on our lymphatic system, because that's the key to getting rid of anything that's flying in the sky that they're throwing out on us. Because if we're being polluted by substances from airplanes flying over our head, it's happening every day, then what you're doing is breathing in those substances, and they're designed more than likely to weaken your body. But your lymphatic system is a gift from heaven, a gift from the creator that put this whole system together to help you dump those toxins. Whatever you breathe in, whether it's someone else's germs or things flying from the sky or fog that's coming up in your neighborhood, This lymphatic system is designed for your protection. See, the creator did not leave us defenseless down here or in here, out here. We have all the tools we need right in here in this sacred temple, this biological computer, yeah, better than AI, that can help us live a thriving, successful life on this planet. So let's start from the top, your head. When you're thinking about a lymphatic system that has glands all over you have something like 800 lymph glands in your body, 800. And these are like port stations where all the toxins go to gather and then be moved out by the lymphatic motion system. So if you're feeling sick and weak and achy, you have to be able to move your body somehow, some way to get this lymphatic system working. It doesn't work if you're sitting there doing nothing. It doesn't work. You have to be moving. So I'm going to show you this morning what the simple things you can do to get this system moving, okay? Because we don't want to have any corporations, systems, governments having victory over our bodies anymore. We went through hell and Twilight Zone with Corona and all that madness, and this is our time to shine and practice what we learned. So I'm going to just take you through the body remedy for the flu, cold, whatever you're going through, that will help you overcome and get back to your normal life. So let's start with the head. When you're tapping on your head, there are points in this head that are going to activate your system of lymphatic drainage. So you want to start just massaging your head, tapping your head, moving your head. Tapping your head is the beginning of the love energy. And I want to call this our love session because what you do with your lymphatic system is show love. We're showing love to this body, this temple, when we use our hands and even our voice to activate the lymphatic system that is designed to get rid of any extra microbes. There are really not good and bad microbes. There's just microbes that are in an army that help you fight whatever you need to fight. And if you have too much of one microbe over another, then that's when you start feeling out of balance. Okay, so many people right now are out of balance because they've been eating crappy food. They haven't been moving their bodies that much because movement is the key to getting your lymphatic system going. So after you spend a few minutes just massaging, loving on your head, thank you, pituitary gland, thank you, colostrum up there, you want to move to the ears. Why? The ears are a map of your whole body. This is worth gold, I'm telling you. If you get any value out of this, please send me a donation because most people don't even have a clue about this. And so what I'm sharing with you has a lot of value. So I'll bring up my Cash App donation because you're getting information, knowledge worth a lot, okay, and value. If you didn't know, if you look at the pattern of your ear, it's the pattern of your body. Your large intestines, all your organs are on a map of your ear. If you study this, you'll see. Just pull up any YouTube video about reflexology. And everything on your ear, every part of your ear is a meridian going to an organ of your body. So you want to start with some oil, maybe, so your ear, you're not dry. Maybe some even olive oil. If you don't have anything else, use olive oil, almond oil, jojoba oil. There's a variety of oils, coconut oil, just put a little bit on your fingers and start massaging in a circular way. Just go get in there and move your finger around. Get to the lobe, pull on the lobe gently. This is all about loving your body, activating your lymphatic system. We're activating the body remedy that's going to not only help you get over this sickness, symptoms, but to prevent them. I came home feeling a little weird, and I immediately put on some music, some reggae music, and started moving. And I started with my ears. Get in there and just massage and move your body. This is, you're actually touching every organ in your body when you do this. Put a little pressure, just love on your ears, and then move to the back of your ears, and just bring with two fingers, massage down. This is an important lymph gland area where you're going to be dumping all those toxins. If you have a sore throat, especially, you might even get some eucalyptus oil, or if you don't have that, if you have maybe a Vicks Vapor Rub, put that. If you have a sore throat, put some Vicks Vapor Rub or eucalyptus oil, peppermint oil. Essential oils will work just as good as Vicks Vapor Rub. You want to put a little bit on your finger and just massage, press gently on this area of your neck, because this is your lymph area that gets clogged. This area gets clogged a lot. So when you start moving just under the ears, so going from your earlobes to just pressing with two fingers, moving the energy of that lymph system downward, downward, downward. And don't forget to breathe in. As you're doing this, take a deep breath, massaging right under the ears. Now, after a few of these, you might feel you should feel a little different. If you have any soreness around there, doing this should help you relieve some of the pressure, pain, inflammation for a while. Now you want to go down to this area, the collarbone. This is where the lymph drain. This is where all the toxins, the pollution stuff is going to move right in here where your lymph glands are sitting. And you want to just massage in a circle right over your collarbone, right like that. Just give it a gentle massage and say, thank you. Your words are important. I love you. Thank you, lymphatic system, for working perfectly. Then move under the collarbone and just press under here and love on that area. You can use two fingers. You can use more than two if you want. But the main idea is to just move the energy along and massage. Give yourself a massage. It would be nice to pay someone maybe to do all this. There are lots of massage therapists who do great lymphatic drainage massage, and that's what you need when you're sick. But if you can't do it, it's a DIY moment. Do it yourself. So you are bringing all the energy, the stuck toxins, the things that are causing you to feel bad down into this area of your lymphatic system, and you're going to be moving that out with, guess what, your breath. So you're taking a deep breath and fluids. You're going to be drinking fluids after this type of work. You want to get some water and drink some lemon water is great with salt in it. And so after you massage this a little, stop, pause, breathe in, look at all that work you've done. It's actually working right now. Stuff is moving. So just go down as we usually do. Pat, just give yourself a pat, especially in the middle of the arm. We're moved to continuing. Under the arm is your next lymph system that you need to focus on. Give yourself a good massage. This is another gland area that needs moving. A good massage on both sides under the arms. So you have a lymphatic system that works draining into the heart area on the upper part. And then when you get past the waist, it's going into the groin area. So you're moving the lymph system down on the upper part of your body. You're moving it all the way down to the middle of your chest. And then right here is where your thymus gland is. This is a very key part of your lymphatic immune system. So you want to give that a tap If after you've done all this work up here in the head and you move all this energy, give this a tap right here. Move it out, move it out. Breathing in, and then your spleen is over here. Give thanks to your spleen, because that is such, we neglect to even acknowledge the spleen, but that's a key area of our body that is working to keep you healthy and symptom free and disease free. So after all this work up here, just loving yourself, moving. This is, if you're laying in bed, you can't do anything else. Just start loving on yourself, touching your neck. Don't lay there and just, oh, I feel bad. I can't feel. No, your body wants to hear love. Love. I am beautiful. I am great. This system, thank you, lymphatic. Thank you, circulation. Thank you, body, for working on my behalf to get me well again. And then when you get to your groin area, you just want to massage your hips, get your hips massage, give your hips some massage. And this is where, if you can do some joint rolling. Okay. So after you do all that massage work, you can then go into your joint rolling to complete the whole process. Get the joints moving out things, because when you're working with sickness and disease and your lymph system, the key is movement. Your lymphatic system will not work if you're not moving. I was telling people on TikTok, if you're in bed, if you can't do anything else, move your feet. Here's it. Move your feet. If you can't do it, if you're in bed, you can at least do this. Guess what? That's like being on a trampoline or a rebounder. And that's what one of the areas that your lymphatic system works with is jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. So if you can't get out of bed, just move these bodies like we do in our regular joint rolling. We move the joints. Guess what? Your lymphatic system is really pumping now, because you have given a lot of love with your hands. Your body loves to be touched. I'm learning that even in my older age, how much my body loves to be. And since I'm a single woman, I have to do touching on my own. I have to do my own touching. And I don't have a lot of people in my life who like to hug. My grandchildren don't like to hug. My son doesn't like to hug. I have one son who likes to hug, but he lives with his dad. So every time I see him, I get a great big bear hug. And then most of the people in my life who, other than my family, who I haven't seen, we get a bit. So give hugs more often when you know people need them. If they don't want them or need them, keep your hugs. But this is our own DIY hugging, loving on ourselves, body remedy for the food that no one's talking about. People are looking for something to put in their mouth to reduce the symptoms, which is good. But if you don't have the money, let's just say your budget is really tight. I see people on Facebook recommending all kinds of supplements. And I'm thinking, do people really have the budget for that? I worked in a health food store, and I saw the price of supplements just keep going up and up and up and up until I couldn't even afford them anymore. Even working in the health food store, I realized I had to do something different. So I work on not only DIY self-improvement program, but a minimal supplement program. My big go-to is vitamin C right now, because vitamin C will do the job if you get enough of it in you, I believe. I had systemic candida after the birth of my second son. I had candida in my blood. I had it everywhere. In other words, my microbes were totally out of balance. Candida took over because I had actually had mercury in my teeth at the time. And I was eating a lot of sugar, drinking a lot of wine. I was just totally off balance. And the candida will take over because it's meant to eat up mercury, dissolve mercury. So if you have a lot of mercury in your system, candida will flourish because that's what it's designed to do. But if you don't need a lot of candida, I couldn't even get out of bed. And I went to a naturopathic doctor. He gave me a vitamin C IV for 45 minutes, and I was back to work the next day. That vitamin C brought me back into balance. So if you can't do anything else, take lots of vitamin C until your bowels are loose, and then back off a little and keep it going until you feel better. Vitamin C. This is also something I did the last 2 days. This is a diffuser. You put water and oils in here, and you turn it on, and it diffuses. In my case, I've been doing eucalyptus and peppermint oil. The smell is heavenly. That's one type. I have another one here. This is another type. Find you a good diffuser that you can put into your environment. Healthy essential oils like eucalyptus, peppermint, tea tree oil, cajeput oil. These are the oils that will help keep your sinuses clear and relieve pain, especially peppermint oil. But the supplements, that's second to, that's maybe three on my list. My main go-to for maintaining health and keeping flu symptoms away is my environment. Music. I played this reggae music. I'm going to put it on for you just for a minute when I go to the studio. Oh, this music is so it's a impartation. It's just an amazing accumulation of reggae songs that are spiritual, so very spiritual. Let's see if I can find it, because it is just, oh my goodness, I love it. But that's part of your healing is music. Find music that just relaxes you and helps you to reggae mix. Let's see. Find music that helps you. Okay, we got one here. So again, the key for body remedy flu, if you don't have any money at all, this is a low budget remedy, is to use your hands to move the energy, to move your lymphatic system, and to love on yourself. It's all about love. Love, love, love. It's all about love. That's what everybody needs. And you can do it yourself by just using your hands. And just let's just say you don't have the fingers and are not functioning the way you like. Find a tool like a loaf of brush. You can use a brush, body brush, to do the same thing that we just did with our hands. Tapping with a body brush, use that. If you're having trouble with your hands, just use something else. A tool. Find a tool to create that energy. So if you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments. My guest, Prince Yashur, is on his way. He had a job to do this morning, but he did call me and said he's preparing to come in. Prince Yashur was here last week, and YouTube took that video down because we talked about a remedy, an old-fashioned remedy that they say was medical misinformation. So they took my whole video down. But guess what? Facebook still has that video up. So you can go to my Facebook page, Soul Purpose Healing, or my personal page if you're on there, and still watch that video that he gave. He and I both gave so much information on that video that we want you to have and treasure. And so I asked him to come back because of the YouTube video that got eliminated. So we're doing another YouTube video today with Prince Yashur that I think you'll really enjoy. It's about developing healthy relationships. And we just talked about the most important relationship, and that's with yourself. We, in 2026, the year of the one, the year of unity, we need to come together as one in our goals and our missions to bring peace to this planet. And so having healthy relationships is key to have for that happening in our planet, in our community, coming together as one. And so let me I'm going to put on some reggae music for us to just meditate in, and I will be back with hopefully Yashur will be here, but if not, we're going to talk about health. What is a healthy relationship? What does that look like? And do you have it? If not, let's work on it. Okay, let's work on that.
No more chasing was never mine. No more racing just to be tired. I found a rhythm I can call my own. A quiet drum carved in bone. Peace within, that's where I begin. No need to prove, no need to win. In every breath, I learn again to live, to love, to just remain. I sat with shadows, made them friends, let go of battles that never end. Now I walk softer, speak with care, leave space for joy in the open air. Peace ain't loud, don't demand. It lives in stillness, it holds your hand. It shows up slow like ocean tide, but once it comes, it stays inside. Peace within, that's where I begin. So that's what we want for all of us, peace within, when all around us is chaotic and confusing. And there is like a civil war going on in Minnesota, I think. Something's going on crazy because the governor is coming out. He's going to call the National Guard on the National Guard or the ICE. And whoa. So the key is, someone was asking me, well, what's going on in Minnesota? Who got shot? Why did this woman get shot? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, this is all a big drama show that we're watching. Anything, listen carefully. Anything you see on the news or the internet, it could be totally actors on doing this. Okay. We see the way AI works these days. The establishment, the governments are using AI to the max to deceive, distract, and keep us fooled and off track of what we should be doing and paying attention to. And that is bringing light into the world. If you're conscious, you should be working on bringing more light into the world from this vessel here. That's what I do. And that's what I hope all of you who come here every day or every Friday and Sunday and whenever, I hope that's what you're doing, bringing light into the world, being conscious, raising your consciousness and evolving. That's why we spend time talking about helping improve our health. So we want to continue to do that no matter who's being killed or shot, because it's every day. It's every day. If you're not watching on the internet, you don't know who's being shot or killed or raped or whatever. You don't have the drama. Maybe you're on Netflix just being entertained. I have so many people in my life. They don't watch the news. They just watch entertainment. Fine. Stay in peace. Because stress. Here's a little key about stress. I saw a TED talk about stress as your friend. Blew my mind because it's so true. Stress is the number one cause in my mind of dis-ease. But it's not the stress as much as how you respond to the stress, how you react to the stress. So if you look at stress as something that is teaching you a lesson, it's not going to affect you. If you look at stress as something that's a part of this journey on earth in this physical suit, biological computer, then you are going to, let's see, my guest is texting me or sending me a note. You're going to just glide through all this. This is all. Okay, already did. Okay, I have to resend. Okay, I'm going to resend. My guest is asking me to send the link, and I already did, but I know these times can be confusing. So we're going to just resend. Yeah, sure. Pardon me for a minute while I just get my guest in here. Yeah, sure, Prince85 at Gmail. Okay, there's the link. And he's ready, and he is ready to come in. And he is just so full of wisdom that I'm just so grateful that he's able to join me today. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Okay, sorry about that. Dealing with, okay. All right, he's on his way. Pardon me for the interruption. But stress, we're going to talk about that today with my guest. Stress in relationships. Stress can be your friend if you respond to it in a way that says, this is here to teach me something. And that is what in life in general, every circumstance that you find yourself in, if you are in touch with your spiritual journey, why you're here on this planet, what you're supposed to be doing, then everything that happens to you, whether it's the death of a child or the death of a spouse, what is the lesson in this? My partner who passed away, I have his picture here. We were dancing on New Year's Eve in spirit. He passed away in October, and 5 years with this person, I have no regrets. I had lots of regrets for a while, but then I had to realize everything that I went through with this man was to teach me how to love myself and how to continue to teach other people how to take better care of themselves, because he was stuck in childhood traumas and events in his life that he stuffed in his subconscious and was unable to resolve that. So today we have Prince Yashur is back. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Grand
Can you hear?
Rising, how you doing?
Okay, let me turn up the.
Yes, I can hear you. Can hear me?
Yes. Okay, you're
Oh
outside with you.
yeah, my baby. Yeah, my baby wastes some water on my laptop while I was gone, so I had to use my phone.
Okay, you know what? That tree is perfect for. Let me enlarge this because I'm a tree person. So your background is just perfect because the tree is the healing. And listen, we're talking about relationships today, how to develop
Hmm.
healthy relationships. Guess what? Behind you is the tree that you need to develop a relationship with. What do you think?
That is true, correct. No,
So,
I have a I have a spiritual perspective about trees. I feel like trees are our ancestors. So, and trees are alive. So, and they've been around forever. So they have intake a lot of information. And so, touching trees, I believe in hugging trees and touching trees and they give us information and enlighten us, on how to be connected to one another as far as like even relationships.
Well, that tree's coming right out of your head as part of you, so that's a good thing.
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah,
So welcome
and
back.
look at our hair. Our hair
Yeah,
just like
the branches out
yeah,
of
our
your head.
hair just like the roots of the tree.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There.
exactly.
So did you plan all this scenery behind you and the image we're looking at?
No, actually, no, actually, I just got in and I came straight, put my bags down. I came straight outside and got my phone. It's because my laptop, my baby, she told me my baby had wasted water on my laptop, so that's where
Yikes.
I'm at.
I
No,
hope you
this
can.
wasn't planned.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
Hmm.
coming back. As I told my audience, YouTube took down our video, so we want to be in my YouTube collection of you giving the wisdom that you brought last week. But we're not going to talk about certain things that Grandma did to help us stay healthy because YouTube doesn't like truth on that level. What you talked about last week, what your grandmother gave you in a spoon with sugar, is something that is true for a generation that had grandmothers, for instance, or a generation who didn't
Hmm.
have grocery stores or over the counter drugs, who learned how to heal their bodies with nature and things in nature. I told my son about what you were talking about with the spoon and the sugar. We're not going to mention, but he was like, oh, he Googled it and he said, oh, no, you can't. That's poison. I would never do that. I said, yeah, of course you wouldn't, because you're using the internet for your resource and to tell you how to take care of your body. Well, that's why you wouldn't use it. But here we are. Prince Yashur had this knowledge growing up, and he's here today with a new baby. So let's talk about healthy relationships. We talked about just a little while ago how to overcome flu symptoms by massaging and activating your lymphatic system from head to toe. I did a demonstration while we were waiting for you about how to move the energy in your lymphatic system so that you don't have to suffer so much during this cold winter season that brings out the symptoms of runny nose and achy body and all that. But
Hmm.
you have a relationship that people struggle with, meaning mother of your children, of your child. And tell us about maybe how you met your daughter's. It's a daughter, right? You have.
Yes.
How did you meet the woman who is now the mother of your child, and how you view that relationship now that you have a little one in the family?
Oh wow. Well, we met in college. Um, I knew her before college, but we started like having conversations when we was in college. She was taking accounting and I was taking the electrician technician, learning how to program cell phones and computers and stuff like that. And so we met in college, and like I said before, then I knew her. We just never had conversations, and we started having conversations. And for the first, I was already on my journey then, wasn't eating meat, and so for the first 5 years, she, was eating meat or whatever, and I noticed some things in how we was communicating with one another on how we was eating. We ate different because I this is nothing that I wanted to force on her or anything. I just gave it, let her make her own decisions or whatever. And as time evolved, she slowly but surely got away from eating flesh, and it made our relationship better. We had a better connection. Because she used to get sick a lot. She had low iron issues, anemia. She was anemic, and she had heavy cycles, you know, real heavy cycles. And so we don't have those issues no more. And
What
that's
was
what
the
got us to,
major change she made to just getting off meat and animal flesh?
yeah, getting off meat and eating more fruit and coming outside, getting sun and grounding, things of that nature. And so we got into nature real good, went camping uh a couple of times, and it was 3 years too. And back you up, it was 3 years before we was even like intimate, you know what I mean? And yeah, because she was a virgin when I met her. She was 27 years old and she was still a virgin.
Wow. And from
Mhm.
what area was this in Georgia?
Yeah, this in Georgia, Bainbridge.
So she grew up in the same neighborhood you grew up in?
No, no, she grew up in the city area. I grew up in the country. And
Oh,
then
okay.
I told you when our house burnt down, we moved to the city area.
Isn't that funny how synchronicities and events were put you into a relationship? Unfortunately, a burnt down house brought you into the relationship with your daughter's mother.
Yes.
And that's what I was saying, how stress. Okay, so let's talk about stress. Have you had any stress in this relationship and how have you dealt with it? From the time you met her, did you see any areas where, that triggered you, for instance, or anything that have happened with the two of you and bringing forth a child that what you would call stressful? Because I'm in the mind now that stress is good. Stress is your friend if you know how to respond to it.
Hmm.
So, how have you
Yeah.
been responding to the stresses in this relationship?
Yes. In the beginning, it was, I tell you, it was challenging because we lived it. Yes. We had good conversation at school, and she was intrigued by the journey that I was on. Me being in the early stages of my journey, and she was intrigued by that, and so she wanted to learn more. But when we made the decision to take it farther, excuse me, yes, it was. When I say it was a challenge, it was a challenge because, like I say, I wasn't eating the way she was eating, and that's very important on how you eat. And times where she want to hang out, with friends and stuff, I prefer to go in nature, go camping, go fishing, things of that nature. And so she was taking it as if I didn't want to spend any time with her, and I'm like, nah, it's not like that. So that was a big issue that we had. And we got past that once she started seeing and started getting in nature and getting in tune with her body even more, because she wasn't in tune with her body to the extent that I was, as far as like health, groundings, getting plenty sun, using cold press olive oil, cold press coconut oil on your skin instead of lotion and grease and all that type stuff. So it was a real challenge because it was something that she wasn't used to. She wasn't exposed to it. But when we got past that, um, our love grew even more. And instead of buying flowers, I started buying her plants, something that she can nurture, what I mean, get a more connection with. And here we are.
And now,
15,
and
hey,
how?
one thing,
Go
man,
ahead. Go ahead.
15, 15 years later.
Wow. 15 years later.
Yeah, yes.
Wow. So 3 years, for 3 years, you weren't even intimate. And
No,
then what were the other 12 years you were just getting to know each other?
yes,
And then
yes,
you just had your first child after all this time.
yes. We wanted to, make sure we get to know one another. And that's what we did, learn our things that we had to compromise on, and things that we can grow together in, and try to evolve and become more spiritual. Because that's what we are. We're spiritual beings. We're just having a human experience, a physical experience or whatever. And so we wanted to be more in tune with ourselves and with God before we bring a child into the world. Because like I say, she was a virgin when I met her. And the first 3 years we wasn't intimate or anything like that. Then and the reason being too, I was on a spiritual journey where I was celibate for 3 years straight. And so that was another thing too that what attracted her to me, because I was on a celibate journey at that time.
Wow, that is so powerful. And then did you all talk about, we want a child now, or did it just happen? How did the little one come along? Do you all plan that?
Yes, we planned it. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what's so beautiful? You won't believe this. We had talked about it 2 years prior, right? And and so in 2022, we just decided, and we went on a. You won't believe this right here. We went on a 5 day watermelon fast,
Wow.
and then we had intercourse and conceived.
Wow. All right. Get that water. Don't be careful with that watermelon.
Oh yeah, that's my baby nickname, Watermelon.
Oh, that is so sweet. That do you eat the seeds too?
Yes.
Yeah. So in Georgia, do you find it easy to find watermelon with seeds? Because it's not easy in Florida.
Oh yes, ma'am. Easy, very easy, very
Okay.
easy.
That's good for you. Because when I went to Costa Rica,
Mm,
they had watermelons with seeds everywhere, and I was like trying to eat up as many watermelons. And then I put the seeds in a container and put it in my
mm.
friend's refrigerator. Say, I'm taking these back to Florida with me, and then I left them there. So I was just so pissed. And I tried to grow watermelon in my yard, but for some reason the vine comes out and then it dies. I don't know what it
Mm,
is I'm doing, but I'm probably not watering it.
mm.
And in my other house where when I was married, I grew water. I had watermelon come up actually, little ones, but it's really hard to grow them here. But that is interesting. I had a brother who fasted on watermelon for 40 days. I think it was a long
Mm,
time. He was just
mm,
doing it for himself, but not with his partner.
mhm,
That's interesting to know the relationship you have with food
mm.
is key to your health, right? What do
Yeah.
you How are you doing? How are you overcoming? Did you have any addictions in your self with your relationship with food and your wife? Did she have any addictions to food that you all had to overcome?
Yes. Whew, junk food, because that's why I started having a lot of teeth issues because of the amount of junk food that we was eating. When my younger years, and one day I just went cold turkey, and I'm like, I'm eating no more candy, no more cookies, no more anything of that nature. And she still continued to do it for a little while, but now she strayed away from it. And then if I want something, I make my own kale chips, banana chips, pear chips, anything like that. I just make my own, cookies. I bake everything. I make my own pancakes if I want something of that nature and use some maple syrup or whatever I want, something sweet. Besides, fruit.
So, see, that's a healthy relationship with food
Mm-hmm.
now because you're eating for nourishment and
Mm-hmm.
strength, right? When you were eating junk food, did you have like a lot of stress or emotional issues going on? Because that's usually, I think, why we get addicted to junk food, the stress.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your case?
Yes, that was my case, her case. Because I learned something along my journey on what stress really is. It's just the body was like when what we know is what we call in stress rather. It's just the body is being deprived of oxygen. But when I say oxygen, it's not the oxygen that we're breathing in. It's actually the oxygen that's in H3O that comes with water, that water that we get out of fruit, because you got H2O and you got H3O2. And so, because you need the extra molecule of oxygen to help with the blood so it can, so that the body, the meridian flow in the body can continue to form, generate its energy so you can stay energized and lightened and stay happy and et cetera, et cetera. And so yeah, as soon as I changed and stopped eating um so much junk food and started eating more fruit and vegetables that was watery, it made me a little stressful free. And actually to this day I don't really let anything, bother me or nothing. Besides, when I come across something like racism or something. But other than that, like I love life, I love myself, I love my family, I love God, I love nature, and I feel like we should give our body the very best. Giving yourself name brand clothes, the best cars, and the best home. None of that. I figured out none of that does you no good if you're not giving your insides the very best, because that deserves more than anything, because you won't be able to appreciate and to its fullness if you have to worry about your health.
And that's what we talked about last week. Health is wealth. If you
Mhm.
don't have that, you're poor, really. And so when now that you have a little one you're responsible for, how
Mhm.
are you feeding her? Because she's 2 years old.
Yes, she's too.
This is the key time that that child is going to develop addiction to the wrong or the right nourishment. And unfortunately, did your wife breastfeed her?
Yes, most definitely. Yes.
Unfortunately, a lot of women go to cow's milk formulas
Hmm.
because they got to go to work or whatever. No shade on them. But then the tongue of the child develops an appetite for processed food.
Hmm.
So what are you doing for your 2 year old now? How do you feed? How do you nourish your 2 year old so she doesn't develop those that appetite for processed food? What is that? Oh, coconut water. Okay,
Yeah, that's
just a little bit.
yes, that's the only type of that we give her coconut water. And I got a juicer, so I buy a lot of apples, peel them. I make her apple juice. I make a lot of things for myself. I even make my own baby food. I make her applesauce when she wants some apples, in an applesauce form. When she, puree food, I started making it in my own. We got off breast milk, and trying to wing off milk now. You still get a little breast milk here and there, and we give a coconut milk majority of the time now. But I make my own. I just do it myself now. I don't buy baby food out of the store. Like, definitely no formula, no cow's milk, nothing of that. Because we're not cows. You know what I mean? I'm not an animal. I'm not a cow. I'm not a calf. So why would I give my baby something that's like, nah, that don't make sense.
And the fact that cows, the molecules in cow's milk are meant to raise a 50-pound calf right away, and people don't want to connect to that reality. The milk actually raises endorphins, I think, or something. When even like
Mhm.
people eat cheese, they get a chemical response in their body that makes them feel good. It's like sucking on mom's breast
Mhm.
again. So that's why I believe people are still connected or drinking milk, cow's milk, cheese, and all that, not realizing the harm that it does to the body with mucus and just slowing down circulation, so
Mhm.
that even your daughter is getting all this great nutrition. And then what's going to happen when she goes to school? Hopefully she's not going to want that stuff, right? That's what your
No,
whole plan is.
no, we're gonna homeschool.
Okay.
We're gonna do everything at home. I told her, I work, so I told her I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and she wanna, get a craft and do something on the side, so fine be it. But because when you look in nature and you see the animals, even with animals, the children do not leave their mother presence until they're weaned off milk, right? And so she's too young. She can't really like verbalize and express her feelings. So I don't want my child going to a school, and then they're not going to teach our children like health, true health, on how they feed them a lot of processed food, and they're telling them, that's where we first learned about the American pyramid on what to eat and this and that, and that's what got us in the shape that we're in now. So I want to keep her now when she get older, uh, and want to go to high school, and that'll be her decision to make. She'll be old enough then. But before then, like, nah, we're gonna homeschool.
Well, recently RFK Jr., the health and secretary, flipped what they call flip the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
He's now putting more emphasis on healthy fats like butter and coconut fats and all that, and less emphasis, and bread's at the bottom of the pyramid now.
Mm-hmm.
he's switching. He's trying to promote healthier eating, and I give him credit for that. He's not doing as much as he could, but he at least is trying to get people thinking about choices that we make in nourishing the body. So I think that's a big deal right there, because having healthy fats in your diet is much more important than having a lot of bread that has glyphosate in it, which is Roundup. If you all don't know, I cannot eat regular bread anymore without, number one, being constipated and have inflammation of some kind in my body. My right side usually gets inflamed when I'm noticing when I eat tomatoes. Even I let go of tomatoes and bread for the last month, and all the pain in my right leg went away. I said, oh, okay, there's something to this. So I'm getting organic sourdough bread, but even that is somewhat constipating. I have to make sure I have a lot of fermented. Are you doing fermented foods as well?
No, if I do, like I
Yogurt.
say, I figured out a way to make my own bread, to make my own pancakes, and I really take the time. We take the time rather to really prepare our meals. Like we don't go out and eat or nothing like that unless we like out of town or something like that. We try to find a vegan restaurant or something like that. Other than that, no, we're at home and we're making our own foods. And I want to touch on something that you brought up about cow's milk. One of the biggest issues with cow milk is the lipids, the fats, right? And the enzyme, nobody, I don't care who you are, no human being has the enzyme to break down the lipids that is inside of cow's milk. No human being, period. And so, and then when I saw how they breastfed milk cows, a lot of they have to separate the cow pus out of there, and they have to separate in which the cow pus is actually what we call cancer, and it has blood in it, right? The milk literally has blood in it, so that's why they have to pasteurize it and or else homogenize it, right? Take it through some type of chemical process to get the blood out of it and get the cow pus, which are the cancer cells, to get it out of it. And so, no, that is a big no.
Yeah, it is, and people are slow to let go of it for whatever reason. And so I'm
Oh,
glad you
I
brought
just
that up.
excuse me. This is what I was intending to say too. I figured out why it's hard for people to let that go and to let sugar go, cheese go. You know why they can't let cheese and cow milk go?
Tell us, please.
Sugar.
Sugar.
Yes, inside of inside of all milk, whether it's an animal or female, it has sugar in it, natural sugar that
Yes.
comes from that, for the baby, for that particular
Right.
species, right? And
Yes.
so these sugars is what has it releases, it help the body releases dopamine. That's what we get addicted, like something it actually it we get addicted to the cheese and the milk through the hormones of dopamine that our body is releasing. So it gets us addicted, and then we want it more, and we want it more, and we want it more, and it want it more. And it's because of the sugar is again is releasing this dopamine, a hormone dopamine in our body, and that's how we get addicted to it.
Absolutely. And I was going to find out what type of sugar that is, because it's not glucose or
No,
fructose.
it's where in a woman body, in a human body, it's called galactose. It's only
Galact-
three. Yeah, it's only three types of sugars on the planet. Is that we're supposed to consume: the lactose, which is only found in a woman in breast milk, and then you got glucose, which you get out of vegetables, and then you got fructose, which you get from natural fruits.
Right. So exactly. So the sugar, that you're bringing up a point about hormones, how our body produces certain hormones
Mhm.
based on what we eat
Facts.
and how we feel.
Correct.
So getting back to the stress factor, when you when you are reacting to certain situations that trigger you and cause you to be angry, uh, disappointed, sad, fearful, then your body is going to produce certain hormones. So guess what? It's I think is oxytocin is a stress hormone, and
Mhm.
then you have other hormones that are produced when you are reacting to certain situations. That's why our relationships to ourselves first and to other people are important, because your body is going to produce hormones. Like you said,
Mhm.
even drinking cow's milk is going to produce certain hormones that will affect your behavior in the long run.
Correct.
So we are really encouraging people to think more consciously about what you put in your mouth, because the relationship you have with what you eat is number one, because of all the hormones messengers that you are activating when you drink cow's milk, when you eat animal flesh. You're activating certain hormones, because the body, in order to break down that food, especially animal flesh. I have a friend last night, she was talking about her cow tongues that she was eating,
Oh.
but she has been on this diet to help her overcome her addiction to steroids. She had a long journey
Mm.
with steroids and Lyme disease. Okay.
Mm.
Doctors have been so confused about Lyme disease, and she has
Sure.
educated me, along with another friend of mine who had Lyme disease, about what's really going on. You know
Mhm.
what's really going on with Lyme disease? Stress. Certain people, I got bit. I went to Virginia years ago, probably about 10 years ago. I stayed on this beautiful land, and I brought home a tick on my chest.
Mm.
And because they, and how I know, we were sitting in a room on this property, and there were these little bugs that sitting laying around. And I'm like, what are these bugs here? And she said, oh, those are ticks. I'm like, ticks? And I'm thinking, Lyme disease, ticks? I said, I'm not gonna worry about it, because obviously these people aren't worried about it. They own this property and these ticks are here. And then we slept in a tent the last night, this huge tent. Four of us were in this huge tent. And that's probably where I picked up this tick. So I come home all the way to Florida, back to Florida, and there's a tick on my chest.
Mm.
And so I broke out in a rash on my back. And my friend, I call my friend Kwame Sunhorse. He's the Native American guru. He's the expert on these type things. He said, "Oh, he just don't worry about it." And I'm like, "A tick?" And I just broke out in a rash. And you're thinking Lyme disease, because doctors have been freaking out about Lyme disease and ticks. That
Mhm.
rash went away because I had a lot of support and counseling about, don't worry about it, just do this. So I built up my immune system basically when I found out this was a tick. Built up my immune system. That was 10 years ago. I didn't have any other problem. These two women in my life who had, quote, Lyme disease went through hell
Mhm.
with what they called Lyme disease.
Mhm.
But both of them were leading very stressful lives. When I look
Mhm.
at her life as a single mom, both of them, in fact, were, well, single mom. One woman had a husband who died, and another husband who died. So, all of this to say, again, back to stress, your relationship with yourself and stress
Mhm.
determine whether you're going to end up with Lyme disease or any cancer,
Mhm.
any other disease, if you don't have the knowledge, the wisdom, as my brother here, to nourish your body and your emotions. We haven't talked
Mhm.
about emotions yet, but that is key in a healthy relationship. Are you, for instance, Yashur, learning not to be triggered by your wife's behavior or words? How have you managed the words and actions of your wife that maybe didn't sit well with you over the years? What's your best tool to manage the triggers that come into your life?
Like I stated last time, and I'm so serious. Okay, what we're calling, even if she say something or have said something in the past that used to trigger me, it wasn't that what she said. At first I thought that what it was, but in reality that wasn't really what it is. Okay, when they say that the body is under stress, it's being deprived of oxygen. And so what's being deprived of oxygen? The endocrine system. The endocrine system is how the body communicate itself with itself, how we think, how emotions play out. That what regulates the endocrine system regulates on how we feel and how we respond to things. So when some of the glands, which we have 12 major glands, and some of the glands are paired. So when these glands are due to lack of oxygen and certain minerals, certain nutrients, right? Then that particular gland affects the organ, and then we'll say like we had a bad day at work, but it's not so much of that. It's just that the brain or this gland is lacking a certain amount of oxygen, which it needs some certain amount of nutrients. So that means that the gland can't operate to its optimal, to its maximum optimal, right? And so this is what we're calling stress. So you're thinking it's work related, it's relationship related, or you thinking, oh, let me move. And you're thinking that it's all these different types of things that is related to, and we try to associate it with people this and that. But again, just putting it in layman terms, it has everything to do with the disruption of the endocrine system. Because what are our hormones? Our hormones are what? They're chemical messengers, right? This is how the body communicates with itself to let you know if something is bothering you. Like, you know what? I don't like this, or this something that I love. You know what I mean? So our bodies are affected by what we're putting in it. And so again, but we've been conditioned through television and through having conversation with doctors and other people to say that, oh yeah, I had a bad day at work, or at home, I had something going on at home, et cetera, et cetera. And all the while, that's really not what it is. It's what we're actually, again, the endocrine system has been affected. The gut, the gut contains uh glands as well. We have a gland below our gut, and so these glands are affected, and it start losing oxygen and nutrients, right? And so anything that's on our mind, we're not looking at it from a bigger perspective, or we're not looking at it in its entirety. We're looking at it from a lack of oxygen, but we'll call it like something that triggered my emotion. But again, what are emotions? Emotions are where do our emotions come from? Our emotions come from our hormones, because those are the messengers on how the body is communicating itself. So if you're eating a certain things and you're eating a certain way, it's going to automatically make you see things in a low vibrational aspect, or it's going to make you look at it in a negative way, because there's a lack of oxygen that's going to the glands and the organs. And see, this is why I eat the way I eat, because food is actually information. And that's how we get what we call light codes or enlightenment. Anything that's created by the sun, right? That means that the sun is sending the UVB rays and the UVA rays inside of it, which are messengers, which are we call angels, from God. And so when we want to see things from a healthy perspective, or things from a divine perspective, the more we eat that's been encoded from the sun, and that gets into the glands and the organs, then we become enlightened. And then you like, oh man, why did I let that bother me? I shouldn't have let that bother me. Or certain things won't bother you as it normally would, because you'll have a different perspective.
Thank you. I had to put my disclaimer up because
Okay.
just in case YouTube is police are watching. Thank you for that reminder about the endocrine system.
Hmm.
And we started out the show this morning talking about the lymphatic system. And we are on a mission. This meeting, the Viyahta's Tiny House Village, is on a mission to educate people about this biological computer which is a sacred system of energy. And if you don't love this biological computer, you don't show love, and it's not going to love you back. You're going to be sick and tired, and it's not going to function right. So my brother is here to educate, share, and we can see from his lifestyle that he is successful in being healthy and having good relationships with his child and his wife, because he's conscious about what he puts in this body, this temple, which has got to serve us as long as we're on this earth. So we want everybody to be encouraged and inspired that 2026 is unity with yourself first.
I want to share something with you real quick. You brought up the lymphatic system, right? Um, the lymphatic system is actually, and this is just doing extensive research. The lymphatic system actually is that's what we call the immune system. And 80% of it is under the skin. So when you were saying about the massaging thing, because we have the lungs, the heart don't pump blood. The lungs is what ventilates, right? The heart is just a valve on how it controls the speed of the blood, right? On how it flows. And so we don't have nothing to move the lymph around. So we have to move our body, move the skin, massage the skin to get the lymph to start moving around. And the brain, because we have a lymphatic system in the body, right? And then we have a thing in the brain called the glymphatic system. You put the G in front of the L, and it's sort of like on a house when you got gutters on top of a house, right? And how it drains. The glymphatic system is how the brain drains. And this is another thing of why a lot of people are dealing with dementia and Alzheimer, and they're dealing with a lot of they're not emotionally intelligent. They don't have a higher perspective because the brain is full of waste, because the glymphatic system in the brain is clogged up. And which what we call the immune system. When your lymphatic system is clogged up, that only means that you have a weak immune system. Because I think the lymphatic system, what we're calling the lymphatic system, I literally believe that is what we're calling their immune system.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the way the lymph, I was saying earlier, if you're the company that takes out your trash goes on strike in your neighborhood, what's going to happen to that neighborhood? The environment will become toxic, basically. So that the lymphatic system is like the company that takes out the trash. Now, your immune system is not going to work if you got trash sitting in there. That's the whole point of it. Your thymus gland, for instance, your spleen. There's so many parts. I made up my mind when my sister had breast cancer and she passed away after 9 months in my house. I made up my mind to study this body. And so German New Medicine is my favorite topic to talk about. In fact, I'm going to do a lecture on that soon, because it talks about the biological computer and all the systems, like you point out. The lymphatic is part of the immune system, but we don't talk about it as a whole project, a whole system working together to keep us healthy. And it's up to us to give it love and care and put the right nutrients in there. And for people with cancer and diseases, we have to ask questions now, brother. We cannot. I'm realizing on that Facebook community that we're on, we need to ask more questions than just go in there and say, well, take this and take that and do this and do that. No, we got to ask more questions, because people come on these Facebook communities. Oh, I have this. Okay, let me give you an example. The recent one. Somebody comes on there. They got this rash behind their ear, and they were on chemotherapy for 13 months. You can't just go in there and say, put some cream on that rash. It's like, honey, you'd have destroyed your microbiome for one. And if you're not aware that you destroyed your microbiome and you're just coming in there asking, how do I get rid of this rash? That's where the ignorance irritates me, that people want to, and people right away, well, go to the dermatologist, and she shares that she had chemo for 13 months and her hair is just growing back. But now I got this rash. And I'm like, what hell? I'm like, I just sometimes just pass up those things because it's just too
Yeah.
much loaded in that question, in that position that you're in. A little rash behind your ear, and you were on chemo for 13, whatever, it was a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Is a biological computer, and if you abuse it with chemo and all other stuff that medical system puts out there, you're going to have to recover for a period of time, and it's not going to be an instant cure with a cream or a vitamin.
Nope.
Stop it. So,
And when you brought up about the rash behind the ears, and most people don't know, and this probably some new information to a lot of people, and just something to think about too. If you get a rash behind your ears or anywhere in this area, that has everything to do with your heart. The
there you
ears
go.
are connected to the heart. So
Yes.
you have some type of blockage it's 4 ventricles inside of the heart, 4 chambers, right? So there's some type of blockage inside of the heart when you break out behind your ears.
So it's so much there's a rabbit hole. There's so much involved when your skin breaks out. My experience, when the skin breaks out, any problem with the skin, your liver and your blood is toxic. You need to clean that up and your skin will clean up. But like you said, what's going on with your heart? What's going on with your liquids in your body, your immune system, your lymphatic
Kidney.
system, kidney. Thank you.
Yeah,
All
because the skin really is the 3rd kidney. It's the largest filtration system besides the kidney that like filters the skin. Is like they literally tell you, the doctor will tell you that the skin is considered to be a 3rd kidney. So
absolutely.
people put a lot of the chemicals, what we call in lotion and oil and all this stuff on our skin. The skin can't filter it, right? Because the majority of the lymphatic system is literally under the skin. And so this start is like you said too, is the lymphatic system is like the drainage system in your house, and your lymph nodes is like the septic tank or the toilets on how the waste comes out of the body, right? But putting all this stuff to block the pores or to uh prevent the oil, our body makes its own oil, right? And that's what cholesterol. That's why a lot of us have cholesterol issues. 'Cause again, it's so deep. We don't understand the body, the anatomy of the human body. And I don't want to get off the subject because it's like going down a deeper rabbit hole. But I want to say this right here, that the oil under the skin, that's how we get natural cholesterol.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've had doctors trying to reduce the cholesterol, which is why you have a lot of sickness and people confused about how to get well. Let me just show some of the comments. Robert Young
Okay.
says, interesting. Thank you, Robert Young, for joining us. Show your authentic self. We lose our authentic self when we come into the family of dysfunctional people. That is so true. So we need to spend most of our lifetime getting back to our authentic self. Because if you come into a world where your mother's a drug addict or alcoholic, your dad's out on the street with other women, and nobody's nourishing you as a child, then your authentic self gets lost. So thank you for
Mhm.
the reminder that that's a work in progress. When you're an adult and you have issues with your health, it usually goes back to adverse childhood experiences that have to be resolved.
Mhm.
Resolved. And Robert says, then know your purpose for being alive, including what your 10 gifts and tablets have developed. It's a work in progress. Absolutely. Kimia says, awesome. She has a question here. What do you do? What do one do for dry skin?
Eat more fruit. Dry skin is a result of dehydration of your organ, and one of your main organ, that the reason why you have dry skin is because your kidneys. The kidneys, the kidneys are majority of water, right? So that means that they need to be hydrated, and hydration is not like what we think is H2O. That's not hydration. That means that hydration is minerals, electrolytes. You know what I mean? Essential amino acids. That's how you hydrate the body, and you'll get rid of dry skin. But my advice uh is to get cold pressed. You have to make sure that it's cold pressed. Get cold pressed coconut oil or cold pressed olive oil or virgin olive oil and virgin cold pressed coconut oil, and put it on your skin and go into the sun. Then that'll help you out.
Absolutely. My skin has been dry just because of that
Mhm.
reason. I've been out in the sun a lot too, but I have not been putting enough of the coconut oil and say,
Mhm.
but also, like you said, when you're juicing fresh fruits and vegetables,
Mhm.
that will moisten your skin, I believe, right?
Definitely.
And drinking coconut water
Mhm.
versus Coca-Cola or some other crazy stuff, uh,
Mhm.
wine or alcohol. Alcohol will also dry out the skin too.
Mhm. And another thing too, a lot of time the dry skin is because, and the reason why the body is getting dehydrated, especially in the kidneys, is because of uh too much artificial sugar. See, dry skin ain't nothing but a yeast. It's a yeast infection. That's all dry skin is. So we can have a like really have a perspective about this. Dry skin is a yeast infection. Too much sugar, and the sugar is coming out. Like when you sweat and the salt come outside your body. So when you get in the skin is dehydrated and the sugar is surfacing up to the, like when you make your own syrup at home, you ever seen how it crystallizes? There your
Oh,
dry skin, right? That's dry skin.
and that comes again, like you said, your sugar is your insulin. It has to do with insulin production going on in this factory. If you have too much sugar in your diet, your insulin's going to be off production, that which is going to affect your pancreas and the candida, and so yeah, then it's going to show in your skin.
Yeah, you're gonna have dry skin on your feet. You're gonna have dander in your hair. All that is just excessive sugar that the body couldn't break down, and now it's cracking up on the skin. That's all it is. But like I say, some cold pressed coconut oil, some cold pressed olive oil, put it on your skin and your feet. But the key that for to activate, because what activates the oil is heat, right? So that's why you have to buy cold pressed olive oil and cold pressed coconut oil. All the rest of it done had heat to it, so it done lost its properties, right? So it's not going to be affected. But once you get it cold pressed and you put it in your skin and you go out into the sun help activates the oil.
Absolutely. So as we wind down, I want to just ask you, what do you do for exercise, you and your wife, and how do you? Is that a daily or regular routine? What do you do for exercise to keep fit and active?
We walk a lot.
You
That's mostly what we do. We walk a lot, and like I said, we come outside. We get in tune with the trees, go to the park or go somewhere in the woods, and we'll sit and we meditate in the sun. We'll sweat. You know what I mean? That's our form of exercising, meditating, and having our backs to one another in the sun, sitting down. And allowing, because the energy vortex that's going through the chakra of the spinal cord, right? This is what keep us going back to your initial topic about relationships. This is how we keep our chakras connected and synchronous with one another. We turn our backs to one another, and because we have our shirts off or whatever, we're skin to skin. And like I say, this energy is going up and down from the root chakra to the crown chakra, and we're in the sun, and then it synchronizes us to be on one accord. And it's the
that
most. beautiful intimacy. That's real sex to me. You know what I mean?
I said that is so unique, so different, so beautiful to connect spine to spine, which is enhancing the kundalini energy and the pituitary gland active. That's doing so much to
Exactly.
your brain and your spine and connecting all that
Mhm.
love energy spine to spine. I have to remember that when I get a partner. We're gonna do back to back meditation, not necessarily face to face, huh? But
Yes,
back
you
to
can do face to face, but the back to back is a more of a connection because in the spinal cord, that's where we have these nerve clusters on what we call in the chakras. We have these nerve clusters that is producing, is spiraling and it's harnessing this energy on how what you said, the kundalini energy rises, right?
right.
So you can become one and become more enlightening. So you get a better effect when you're back to back.
Wow, that is so beautiful to think about that your relationship is going to improve even if you're back to back, not arguing or hating or angry, but in love, connecting to that spiritual part of you that really helps you improve in every way. That's beautiful. Yeah. So thank you
Yeah,
for
'cause
sharing.
remember, real quick, remember the heart is connected to what? It's connected to the spinal cord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just think about it.
And that tree behind you is
Mhm.
a mirror. It's a mirror of who you are, what you are, and how you are strong. I love the fact that you're standing next to that tree as we finish up, because people need to really develop a relationship with the trees. Not only,
Mhm.
as I always say, they're protecting us from all this crap they're spraying in the air, but it's actually giving you a connection to who you are by that strong bark. Look at that bark, how strong
Mhm.
that is.
Yeah,
And the fact that the earth is bringing up energy that you can connect to by touching the tree, right?
yeah. These are portals. Trees are portals, and so when you connect to a tree, it helps take out these positive electrons out of the body so they can give you the negative electrons. So and that's another thing too, real quick, on how the body it helps the body to digest. Like when you eat certain foods and you getting certain electrolytes and certain minerals, they're coming out hugging a tree and or touching a tree with both of palm of your hands or with the bottom of your feet. It helps the digestive system to break down the nutrients.
How about that? Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's again, got to get a relationship going with that tree. That's your brother. Your brother,
That's
sister.
what we got away from. We got away from Mother Nature, right? And we adopted a lifestyle that was given to us through, again, public school system. But once we get back in tune with what we came from and what we're made of, because even in the Bible, any holy book, it tell you you came from the earth, you go back to the earth. So it's like, yo, wait a minute. If this is where I actually came from and I'm going back to, then I need to be more connected to where I actually came from. These are our ancestors. This tree been here for years, so it has heard and seen things that I haven't heard and seen yet. So when I need that enlightenment to on how I need to respond to something that would probably normally trigger me, I come out here and connect to the tree, and the tree communicates with me through negative ions and electrons, right? And then it gives me this enlightenment. Because think about it, we're saying that we're thinking, we're actually listening to our thoughts, right? We're not creating our thoughts, we're listening to our thoughts. So when I want to hear positive and high vibrational thoughts, I come and I get in tune with our mother.
Absolutely. What do you do as far as prayer and and what your religion, do you practice any religion, or what's your spiritual practice, like prayer and meditation? How often do you do that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I have a different perspective on prayer. I think prayer is this is prayer. When you come outside, because you're using your hands. This is why the palm of the hands and the bottom of the feet are different colors, right? And these have eyes. We don't supposed to never put our hands together to pray because you're blocking the eyes that is in the palm of the hand. And so when I pray, I come and I get connected to the trees, or I hold them up towards the sun, right? And that is literally prayer. We don't know what prayer really is. We think prayer is like getting on your knees and bowing your head. You know, that's not prayer. What is prayer? Prayer is a mental transaction with your higher self. That's prayer. When you a mental, think about it. When you even if you're in a room and you're in silence, you're listening to the thoughts that is in your head. You that's a You're doing a mental transaction with your higher self on what we call God. So you can do that anywhere, but one of the main places where you want to do it at is in nature, because again, when you touch the trees and you touch the earth, it's communicating with us. It's a it's an exchange of energy.
That's a programming that is hard to let go of, because even now, I was watching in New York City, they're calling all the Muslims out to pray and bow, and calling for prayer now in New York. It's like they're shifting from a Christian perspective of, going to church and worshiping Jesus and all that, to now New York is taken over with Muslim activity, another religion basically, of
Another right.
like you just said. My partner, who just passed, he used to spend at least an hour in his bedroom on his knees, bowing, praying, and it would frustrate me because he didn't get any better. He had more pain, more suffering. And he was dedicated to bending his head and praying in bed for an hour or whatever, and with the Bible, and he never got better. So I kept thinking, can we shift on that? Because you're doing something that you were programmed to do for many years, but it's not working right now. So the idea for us in a relationship with religion and church and all that is, you either grow and evolve to the tree, for instance, or you will grow a tumor, is what one woman said. There's a saying, you either grow or evolve. You either grow in this area, the tree, nature, or you're going to grow a tumor because your body is in conflict at some point with this programming that we have received since childhood. Sunday
And I tell
school,
you something, excuse me,
kindergarten.
I want to tell you something that I had forgot to mention. One of the main things when you're praying, just really think about this social construct on the way we pray. When you bow your head, what are you doing? You're slowing down the flow of oxygen. You really see what I mean? You're
Yeah,
literally slowing down the flow of oxygen.
right. Okay. But it's the programming of being humble before Allah, or being humble before God. When here's the awakening that I have had, and Kenya, the creator is inside of us, the kingdom is inside of us. So why are we bowing to the sky when inside of us needs to be activated, in my opinion, and connecting with the tree and nature, which is the kingdom outside here? And yet the programming that we see that's not really changing and bringing more peace to earth is that you got to bow to Allah or God and be in a position, like you said, bowing in humble servant, to show that we're not sinners anymore or something.
Mm.
It's a crazy time of transition. I think more and more we're awakening, like you said, to the idea of nature. We need to be spending more time in nature, connecting to nature, not continuing the false programming of religion. religion. I was listening to a show the other day, and there was a brother who wrote a book about being a Muslim as a black man. And my question was, why do we even need religion at this point of any kind? Because
Exactly.
it hasn't improved our society. In fact, that's what the Middle East is fighting about, religion, whose God is better and all that. And so I'm grateful to have you share the truth
Mhm.
about where we're headed in our spirituality. We
Mhm.
we want to promote spirituality over religion, in my opinion, because
Mhm.
religion has failed to bring about the changes we need in the society to improve our lives and make things better. I'll let you have the final word as we,
Okay.
because this is, I want everyone listening. And my sister, Kimya, says it makes sense. In Maine, she used coconut oil and hardly got the sun. That's why she moved to get more sun. I think she's in Georgia now. So that's why we, in our lives of this area of unaffordable housing people are struggling with, you got to move. You got to be able to grow. And that's sometimes moving out of the city, moving from wherever you are in your mental state of programming and religion and all that. We need to grow if we're
Mhm.
going to actually see improvement. And I, for one, am working to present affordable housing. That's why I'm in a tiny house. I've been in a tiny house. I am promoting affordable housing with a partner of mine for people who are stuck. They're stuck in the city and the urban, out of nature. So I'm gonna let you have the final word, Prince, because this is
Okay.
where our spirituality is what we need to promote.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to say two things. Growth, even if you look in nature, it needs soil, right? And this soil has to have a certain amount of minerals in it for it to even grow, and sunlight. And that same laws, because those are the laws of God, it applies to the human body and to our, elevation spiritually. So what help us grow is minerals and things that come from the earth. And one more point I wanted to bring up. You said about humble, right? We have it's a social construct on how they define the word humble. If you look at the word humble, it's two words, right? It's actually a compound word. A compound word is two words that make one word. That means that it given another meaning, right? So you look at the word humble, it's hum and able, meaning you have to be able to hum. And what is hum? Is when you're chanting like that is humble. That's how you, we don't see like that's how you supposed to humble yourself, because we thinking humble yourself means this. But no, to humble yourself meaning you have to hum, and you have to have the ability to know how to hum. This is where they call chanting, because it's a vibration. We're vibrational beings. That's what our emotions are. You notice, like when you in the cold, you can tell we're vibrating, because if you get into a certain cold climate, your bones start, you realize that you start shaking, but you it's showing you that your body is actually vibrating, right? And so it's vibrating because it's out of what it needs, which is a form of heat, right? So, but when you get into, you start getting warm, you don't feel the vibration as you do when you cold, but you're still vibrating because the body is humming. So when they say that you need to humble yourself, right? We need to learn how to hum, chant, like the different chants that comes along with the chakras as well, because this is what actually activate the chakras, you know. Uh, and that's why I want to leave with people. Eat a little more healthier, to come from Mother Earth, get more in tune with nature, go outside, get you some sun if weather permitted, hug a tree, touch a tree, and get naked every chance you get when you by yourself in the woods. That's all I can say.
All right. I'm all for that. I get naked on my trampoline because I have a fence around my house, my yard. So I take my top off and hey, I need sunshine on these walls. I don't get any attention. So I gotta get attention. So and I want to remind everyone my book is still available.
Mhm.
From Fear to Faith and the Master Design is available on my website. You can get that for $8 to Cash App at dollar Viyahta Robinson for a PDF. And it's available on Amazon as well. I don't promote Amazon as much because they're not as integrity, have the integrity that I need right now. And my website, yourholisticlifecoach.com. If you're ready for transformational coaching to live the life that Prince Yashur is promoting and sharing, then you can go to my website, yourholisticlifecoach.com. I put together a transformational coaching plan for $777, which will help you. It's not going to, you can't do this transformation in one day.
Nope.
What we're sharing with you is going to mean dedication, consistency, and discipline. This is, we didn't talk a lot about discipline, but all of this, what we're talking about is discipline. If you don't have the discipline to change your life, to move into a new thought process of humming and not bowing to God deities that are inside of you, then we understand it's not your time right now. But we're encouraging you to think about in this year of 2026, number one, unity, to become one with nature and the universe. The universe is going to protect us. I don't care what's going on in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Dearborn, Michigan. We have a mission to stay in our lane, mind our own business, and take the best care of this temple body that we can to fulfill our mission. We don't know when we're going to leave this body. So let's just do the best we can right now, today, and not worry about what everybody else is doing, because there's too much going on. They're distracting us really well right now, especially in the political arena, but just in the media in general with this flu. We're going to be all the fear mongering is everywhere with this fear. The virus is again, the pandemic has begun, but that's why I'm here every Friday morning and every Sunday night and even Wednesday evening. Thank you so much, Prince, for joining me. I know it's a last minute thing, but now hopefully YouTube will approve of this one.
Hopefully.
And we'll stay up on YouTube. And it's available on Facebook. The last week's show and is available on Facebook. Thank goodness. I don't know what's going on. They're not communicating, I guess, with medical misinformation. To all my yogi friends out there, namaste. Namaste. I'm going to open my hands. Namaste. Sat Nam. Ashe, Ashe, oh, to all my brothers and sisters. Aho, Aho, Native American energy flowing everywhere. And shalom. Stay in peace and shine your light. Thank you. Thank us. United souls. Hallelujah.